Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ing. Joyce, it's the moment we've been waiting for months. The 2023 Emmys are here.
In 2024 on Martin Luther King Day.
What a way to celebrate a very serious holiday by handing out awards for the television season of 2022-2023.
In 2024.
Wow.
Nothing wrong
We
with
were finally
this.
here. I don't have nothing to say. I can't believe it. We're finally here. I don't know. We're not really. We have a question. We could want to do this for. We'll save this, I guess, for later. But we have a
You
great question
always do
about
this.
this.
Stop being chaotic.
Okay.
We have a system.
Okay.
Stop
We'll
ruining
save this.
it.
It's a great question. But we're gonna start with our picks, Joyce. Starting with comedy series. We'll recap the nominees are The Bear, Ted Lasso, Abbott Elementary, Jury Duty, Mrs. Maisel, Barry, Only Murders, and Wednesday. And Joyce, I still have Ted Lasso winning.
Are you going to keep it?
I am going to keep it.
I mean, you do have like another week basically to, you have 6 days because we're recording this on Tuesday to change it.
I have really no reason to change it unless I just get bored because I haven't changed it yet. And while The Bear did pretty well at the Creative Arts Emmys, winning casting as a significant award, and I think it won many awards. And in our predictions, everyone thinks it's just going to sweep, basically. But this is still for season one. The Emmys still have not shown me they don't love Ted Lasso, despite any issues with season three. And while I think The Bear season two is well ahead in terms of creative success of season three of Ted Lasso, I think The Bear season one is only slightly ahead of The Bear Ted Lasso season three in terms of creative success. So all of that being said, I still have Ted Lasso, but there you go. It's second in our odds. Most people think The Bear is going to win, probably.
But how much would season 2 of The Bear factor into their voting? Because it dropped June 22nd, as we know, and Emmy voting occurred as scheduled in August.
I don't think it will have that much. I think based on the last few years, and I guess using Ted Lasso season two as an indicator of this, I think it helps more with like the performances than it does the overall show. I think people like Ted Lasso. The Emmy voters who like Ted Lasso liked it, still like it. And there's no reason. I understand critically it was not as good. And like we said, in terms of moments, I think it was still great. But I think in terms of overall narrative cohesion, there were some issues. I think voters just like the show. They've not shown they didn't like the show. It had more nominations than it ever had. It had editing nominations. I mean, like, it just is. It's still a beloved series somehow, despite the fact that the internet wants it not to be. And this is the last time,
I
presumably.
mean, it's like it's not, they're not wrong. It's not like unwarranted hatred. It might be over the top hatred, but it's like the criticisms are not unwarranted or unfounded.
I think
But
that some of the I think some of the criticisms are warranted, but I think the over the top hatred is performative.
I mean, that's just the internet. It's just like
Okay.
Bradley Cooper right now. Just, everyone taking a shit on him. There's like valid criticisms of Maestro too, but
Yeah.
it's the internet, so it's over the top.
Yeah.
But no, I agree that the Emmys of all these award shows love Ted the most.
Yeah.
And no one else has loved Ted Lasso more than the Emmys.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have it. I haven't moved off of it. And I do think The Bear is stronger than Abbott was last year, if we all assume that Abbott, since it won casting last year, was second.
Yes.
I don't even know if Abbott is top 5 this year.
I don't know if it is either.
But I would say Ted or The Bear, like it won casting, which is voted on by casting directors, producers, and directors. It won 4 Creative Arts over the Emmys over the weekend. It won editing. Ted won 2. So it already performed better at Creative Arts this year than last year when it won 0. It won guest actor for Sam Richardson and song for Ed Sheeran. So those are not really relevant. And I mean, it's like they're just like fine, like whatever categories. Nice to have a win on the board. So I think with like seeing that like they still love it enough to give it 21 nominations and voting still occurred in August. and it's everyone voting for the program awards, like I think there is like enough consensus for it to still pull this out. And then my other thing with the Bear is if I predict the Bear to win series, I basically like not have to, but am encouraged to predict a sweep for it. Like,
Yes.
you know,
And I'm
so
not doing that. Right.
and I don't know if I want to do that. So I don't know. I know a lot of people switched to the Bear after one casting, which I also don't think was a surprising win.
Let me ask
You know,
you this about the casting. I understand, like, to me, I guess it would make sense that these shows could keep winning casting, but there's really no reason for the third season of Ted Lasso to win casting when I don't even think they added anyone significant in the third
they
season.
added like what's his face?
Yes.
For like two
Zava.
episodes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So memorable. We can't even remember the actor's
I
name.
mean, he didn't even play a match, and then he left to like be with this avocado farm.
And
So
you could say the same thing I would say about Succession, where it didn't win. I had like, why would Succession win for its fourth season of casting,
I
right?
mean that loss made a lot more sense, you know, and it won for season 3, Succession, and like it won for seasons 2 and 3. So, but like that losing to the White Lotus obviously makes a lot more sense, and the Ted losing to the Bear also makes more sense because that's a new show,
Yes, that's
you
what I
know.
mean.
So
I
I think
guess, yeah,
that like I think as a new show you have an advantage over old
definitely,
shows.
yeah, definitely. And then I guess what you're saying is absolutely right. The categories Ted won are not significant in terms of like anything. But I will say, in both those categories, there is actually no reason for Ted to have won, and they weren't predicted to have won, right? Like Sam Richardson, maybe we should have taken more seriously, and you were the only person to predict him basically getting nominated, and then he won. But he was dead
Yeah, and
last
I
in
should have
odds.
just picked him for the win. It's
But
like
he was dead last in the odds. And in song, it had two Ted Lasso songs. The Ed Sheeran one, but like everyone predicted Weird Al song winning, and Weird won limited TV movie or whatever, and it won music supervision, I think, or did it win White Lotus music supervision and it won music, right? For Weird, I believe that was how it split. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm
So
like, there was another option there besides Ted. So I understand like that's what I mean when I'm like, I think everyone voting on a program, it just help like it is still like it is a very liked show. The Emmys like it, and there's no reason for it not to win for the third season. And the Bear, again, they're still voting on the first season. I guess one of the reasons I was like, maybe they actually do pay attention is if they were not voting on the first, if they were using the second season to like love the Bear, then John Bernthal absolutely would have won. But like we said, he was nominated for 3 seconds of
well,
FaceTime.
like it's the Key and Oliver Platt were nominated, so they could have just split the because like they were both more significantly featured in season 2 than in season 1.
Sure. Or they could have just been like, we actually don't want to give him this for season one because he doesn't deserve it for season one. John
But I don't
Bernthal,
think it's like and I don't think they were anti-voting for season 1. Like it could have just been
I,
like them splitting the vote, and then like they did just like
I,
Sam Richardson
yeah,
on
I don't
that.
know if they're, I wouldn't say it's anti-voting, but I would just say like, if I was voting on season one of The Bear for John Bernthal, I would have not voted for him because I
Maybe
love
how
him.
many people do you figure it out that he submitted the finale of season 1 when he was in it for literally 3
I
seconds?
have no idea, but I'm sure some people had to, right? I got to give them a little credit.
I don't, it's the guest categories. They're so fucking lazy.
Anyway, I still have Ted. I don't think nothing has convinced me to move off of it in 6 months since we did this. So, I'm like, I'm sticking with it.
I think it's between the two of them.
Oh, sure.
I think it's always been between the two of them. So, and the Bear did what it needed to do at Creative Arts to make a very strong case for the win.
Yes.
And I don't see anything else really beating either one of them. I still have jury duty in third. Um, I have Abbott in fourth. I
Me
don't know. Should I
too.
move it down? I don't know.
I don't really know what I would put
I don't
above
think the
it.
order of the rest of these matters,
No, I
but
have jury duty in third also. I don't really know what else I would put above Abbott. I don't think any of these other shows are particularly
no, I mean
strong.
like I mean I guess I could just put my beloved Barry above Abbott.
Yeah, I have Barry in fifth.
So it did win stunts again.
But if
I'll go
you're out
ahead.
there picking,
This is how I'll go out with Barry, number 4 in my predictions.
if you're out there picking the Bear, you're with the consensus of most people. But I'm gonna stick with Ted. For comedy actress choice, this one is
Again,
completely
any one of them.
deranged. It really could be anyone. To recap, the nominees are Quinta Brunson, Rachel Brosnahan, Christina Applegate, Natasha Lyonne, and Jenna Ortega. And Joyce, I have Natasha Lyonne winning.
Because you'd have like one guest actress.
A little bit, because it showed at least they watched it. Somebody watched it. So that was the problem with Peacock. We've said for like 2 or 3 years on here that they're not watching this channel or streamer. It does not exist. And this year, maybe it exists. So in a category without a front runner, even though Quinta Brunson is well ahead, despite the fact that Abbott seems like not a show that the Emmys seem to care about, I'm going to have Natasha Lyonne winning.
Peacock has now, because Peacock also won casting for The Traitors on
Yes,
Sunday. So
I saw that.
Peacock has more Emmy wins than Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
So
I have Natasha winning. And I have Jenna Ortega in second because I thought Wednesday did pretty well at the Creative Arts Emmys, or as well as it needed to do.
it did, but those, I mean, it's still branch voting, those
I know,
categories.
but I'm just saying, like, they like it, and it's a very popular show.
I can see any of these people winning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've had Rachel for, I guess, like 6 months. I don't know, 7 months, 8 months. I might just keep her.
Do it. I had her for a long. I only switched off of Rachel. I never had Quinta winning, I don't think. I think I had Rachel or Christina Applegate as well. Like we said, anybody could win this.
I had Quinta as a placeholder until the final season of Maisel came.
Yeah.
But like we've talked about for like literally a year now, that I mean at this point we didn't know Hacks last year was not gonna make the cycle, but once it left, this with Jean Smart gone, this was Quinta's window to win because Jean is gonna be back this year, and I think she'll just win again.
Yeah.
But she never felt like a super strong front runner, and this was also obviously before Emmy nominations where we expected Abbott to do better in its sophomore year, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I understand the inclination to go with Natasha in a weak field like this with Judith's win, but it's a different category too. So, I think she can do it. I have her in third now. So I don't know. I think I don't think you can be wrong in this category. I mean, like, would anyone be surprised if like Christina Applegate won either? I don't.
I can make a really good case. I could have done the same spiel and make a case for Christina Applegate and obviously Quinta Brunson and Rachel and Jenna Ortega, I think, easily too. So I don't know. I just feel like anybody who wins this, I'll be like, good for them.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Like, even if I switch between now and Monday, I don't know who I would go to.
I don't know. It's a Wild West category.
Yeah. Like it'll be cool for like Rachel to win again for the last season of Maisel. So, I mean, like, what if it is just Quinta? So Abbott didn't win anything. It lost Taraji P. Henson for guest, which, was heavily predicted since her casting was announced, basically, for her to win. But we've talked about like how it didn't feel like she would do it, and then she didn't. So, if Quinta, I think Abbott might get goose egg. I feel like it kind of rests on Quinta. I don't know about supporting actress, either of Cheryl Lee Ralph. So because even though like Cheryl won last year, but I think this is like the easier category because it's more open for it to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will get goose egg based on my pick. So I will say, like, I almost predicted Cheryl in supporting actress because I
To
just feel
save it
like
from being goose egg.
not because with a lot of these, including with Ted in comedy series, I think like they're not historically, it's not the most adventurous group of voters, and they like to default to what they've won previously, right?
They pick what they've watched.
And so they already know, and I think it
they
helps when
watch
there's
like 4 shows.
and they already know, like, like we could do this when we get to supporting actress, but I'm like, in terms of like Cheryl, she won last year. They already know they like her, and like everything about her performance in the second season of that, but was literally exactly the same as it was in season one, right? Like there's no difference in terms of like, so if you liked it already, why wouldn't you like it again to vote for it? The only way you wouldn't is if there was something new that you were very, very, very excited about, which is maybe Io. That's why I kept her there. But in terms of like Quinta, she didn't win last year. They're not looking at her as like someone they like love, love, love. And so like I think
And
the
then it's like, was there anything that she did in season 2 that
right.
overly impressed you
I
that
right.
ended in April?
Right.
So,
I just don't think it would be she could like any of these people could win, and I guess it wouldn't be a surprise. But I'm not going to predict Quinta to win because of that.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just keep Rachel. I have
I'm very
no.
excited to see who wins this. I actually am excited because I have no idea who it's going to be. And it would be great. Honestly, every one of these people would give a great speech, be a great
Yeah,
win.
they would all be great winners.
So that's what's,
I really just don't know who it will be.
I'm just like thrilled. Whatever it is, it is. I'm just gonna stick with Natasha and go from there, I guess. For comedy actor choice, again, the nominees were Jeremy Allen White, Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader, Martin Short, and Jason Segel. And I was really torn on this one.
Because you
And
switched to Jason Sudeikis.
I'm gonna keep Jason, even though I think it's wrong. And leave Jeremy in second. And the reasons are pretty much what I was just saying. They're bored. They like Ted, and Jeremy would definitely win, I think, this next year overwhelmingly. But I'm not sure he's going to win this. I think people still love Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso, and individually, they think he is great. And so there you go.
I have Jeremy.
No
And
kidding.
I
Everyone
think
is.
it's just, yeah, like they love the bear. So that's the exciting new thing.
Yeah, it could work. I'm going to stick with Jason. I'll go down
Like
with the ship.
I think Ted can win series without
An acting
Jason
win.
winning. Yeah,
And win
without it.
without an acting win, except for Sam.
Yeah. I mean, that's still an acting win. It's just not
I
gonna
know.
be on Monday night. So
I could see. I'm gonna keep Jason. This one I might change. The last seconds, because there's no reason to get it wrong. But for purposes of recording, I'll keep Jason in first.
how would you be keeping Jason if you had not done the Ted SAG panel last month?
I had thought of
We know how
Jason.
you are.
I
So
had thought of Jason before the panel,
I know, like, because you had him before you switched to him before the panel, but
and the
are you
reason
more
was
inclined to keep him now because of that?
maybe only because in the like my sense from watching in the being in the room of and that's SAG, so it's just act like SAG, like whatever, not like
They're probably
Emmy.
not even Emmy voters, so
Exactly. But people love him and they love the show. There's like still a warm, like, regardless of what we would say, like the online noise about how it's not good, people love the show. It's still a beloved show. And I think
yeah, but they
he is
also
still
love the
beloved.
bear. So
They like the bear. Yeah.
it's
They
like
love
I
the
don't think
bear.
it's the same thing as what you were saying before with like Abbott and Quinta.
No,
Like
no, no. I
so.
mean, I think Jeremy would make a lot of sense to win. And as I've said, I think we said this maybe the other day. For me, he's better in season one than he is in season two. So he would actually be a more, not that there's more deserving or not, but like he should win for season one. And I think like the
I
season
think
two doesn't
also
help him or hurt him, basically.
the thing is like we know like season one of the bear broke out anyway,
Yeah,
right? Like we know that. Like it did really well at the guilds last winter. And so like Emmy voting closed in August, but like so Emmy voters for season one, they were the last people who were like the last group that was able to um nominate and award the bear because of the release schedule. So
right.
I feel like because like they already love it, they've been itching to vote for it.
Yeah.
So like they watched it win all these awards like over the winter. Maybe like they voted for it at BGA or like PGA, WGA, and SAG,
All right.
and it's like
I'm gonna put Jeremy in
this is
first.
my chance to vote for the bear for the Emmys.
Oh, I'm gonna put Jeremy in first then. I'll just do it now. There's no reason to get this wrong. Everyone's gonna have it right. So if everybody gets it wrong, then it's fine. If Jason wins, I don't need to get it right. I'd rather be wrong with
You could
everybody.
go out on a limb for another category.
I guess so. Not this one. All right, Jeremy. I'll keep Jeremy. We'll keep that's fine. For comedy supporting actress choice, the nominees again were Io Debris, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Hannah Waddingham, Alex Borstein, Janelle James, and Jessica Williams, and Juno Temple. And like we were just talking about, I have Io Debris winning.
Same. Again, just won the Globe in lead for season 2, and 8 days later, gonna win an Emmy for season 1 in supporting. Fantastic.
And I have Cheryl in second.
Same.
Uh,
You don't even have your girl Hannah Waddingham?
no, because I kept going back to the idea that they already like we were like in terms of we were saying this before about like it's hard to go back. They don't like to go back,
They're
right?
not lost.
No, they do not like to go back. And so like I think Hannah was like great, and then Cheryl usurped Anna, and now forever in Emmy voters' minds, Hannah and Cheryl's ahead of Hannah. And then Io is new, and she's now ahead of these other two.
And they love the bear.
And they love I specifically Io has like a high rating. I felt like in the room watching at the Golden Globes, which is like a lot of famous people were there, and who knows, it had no bearing on any of this, but I was like, she is beloved. Like people love her.
There were a lot of standing O's on Sunday. Very liberal, guys. You can't be doing this. Aren't you tired from standing up so often? But I think you can definitely tell like which people they were actually like or like more excited about
She was
than
one of them.
like some of them just felt like obligatory standing O's.
I felt
like
like
the
yeah.
people were taking too long to get to the stage. You know?
Yeah, I felt like she was definitely one of the highest rated people who
Yeah,
won.
like some of the standing O's, like basically all the Succession people got wooed
Yeah.
onto the stage, and like Io, everyone immediately stood up, standing over her too. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like she's also like she's a more because she's like the audience avatar into the show's restaurant world too, and like she's more of a sympathetic character than Carmi Sydney.
Yeah, and she's actually funny, but people care about that in terms of like if there's humor in the
I don't
first
think they care about
season,
that. It's in acting. I don't think they care. Like they might care in series,
maybe, but
but
she
in
actually
acting.
is funny also. She's great.
So yeah, and like I mean, I can see Cheryl repeating, because this category does like back-to-back winners. Although we haven't seen that since Alex. I mean, Annie Murphy couldn't do it because that was the last season.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, a lot of people were predicting Hannah Waddingham to repeat too, and she didn't do it. So, I mean, Cheryl was, yeah, like you were saying, like she was still great in season 2, and her tape was fire. That was like the Barbara focused episode when she finally copped to starting to fire at the school, and it turned into this whole very special episode about mental health days. So I don't know, yeah, so I guess like the Avid win can come here too, but I'm not gonna do it.
No. For comedy supporting actor, Joyce, refresh. The nominees are Evan Moss Bacharach for The Bear, Brett Goldstein, Ted Lasso, James Marsden, Tyler James Williams, Phil Dunster, Anthony Carrigan, and Henry Winkler. And I'm sticking with James Marsden for jury duty here to win.
I still have James. This we've talked about a very competitive category.
Eben is in first in the odds, not surprising because Forks is his rainbow, as we said this once earlier.
Yes, Forks. Well, if he wins, Forks is definitely his rainbow. And that's the other thing. Like, if I do the Bear in series, then I mean, like, then I would have to switch to the Bear in directing, which we'll get to. And then I'm just like, why wouldn't I just pick Evan too? So then I'll win every comedy category except actress. I don't know. I can also see like what if Ted gets its main acting win with Phil?
I have Phil in third. I was almost going to pick him. It could easily
I have him in third
happen.
too. I have James, Evan, Phil, and Brett.
Me too. I definitely think it could happen in terms of he was the breakout of the season. He's actually new in terms of like,
He was the last one to get nominated.
and like people really, really like the Jamie character arc and his like,
He's basically the only thing that people agree about season 3 was great. He's the Elizabeth Debicki of Ted Lasso.
And so he could definitely win. And I think the only problem is the reason I didn't pick him is because Brett, I think, was also great in season 3, and people love Brett Goldstein still.
I mean, what
So,
if he just repeats?
and he could easily repeat. And Evan would, but to me, the thing with Evan is like he would absolutely be winning for season 2, and maybe that's fine, but I just am like, I don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't.
I can see it happening. If the bear is just gonna dominate, I can see it. So, but again, that would like depend on me switching to the bear in series 2. I mean, I guess the bear can win series without him, but I don't know. Because I feel like it would also be propelled by season 2, the bear winning too.
Yeah.
So
What's your case for James holding on to win?
it's just the most different performance here. I mean, I feel like and like now, right now, not a lot of buzz around jury duty, but back then, the spring and summer, there was,
That's the
and
thing.
they campaigned,
They campaign like crazy, and well, as much as they could, obviously, in terms of the
yeah,
strikes.
it made
But
series, it made writing and casting.
I
Uh,
I think if voting was happening now, he would never win. It feels like out of sight, out of mind. But the jury duty fever pitch was at a height in
yeah, like they can't
the
like everyone
summer.
campaign normally at this or like until the strike, actors, and
Hmm.
writers, but like because voting still happened in August, so
I
um
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think, as much as I would love Anthony Carrigan, as you know, to win, he's not winning. I don't think him, Tyler, or Henry are winning, but I can see the other four winning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should keep him, James. Like, because if I switch to Evan, like, what if I have 3 bear acting wins and Ted winning series?
I mean that's tough.
That
Then
would be like Mayor of Easttown losing
and I
series.
could still see it though. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I'm most confident in Ted winning series, and I could see all these other actors going to the Bear. I really am. I still think Ted would win series.
Yeah, there's so many different combos to do because I could just do a bear sweep.
I
I
mean,
could
part
do
of me
the
is like, should I just do the Bear sweep and then just say like, oh, everybody else got it wrong?
Yeah, and if you do that, then it's like you're picking one thing and then like you might get a category or two wrong, but you're not making the choice yourself to split the shows, you
I
know?
think if I had gone with, I think if I had gone with Jason in actor, maybe I would
Yeah,
have
you're gonna go
stuck.
back him.
Maybe I would have had Evan too. But I'm like, I feel like I'm just gonna leave James. I don't know. I'll just leave him.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I'll leave him too. I don't
I
know.
guess I would say I was more confident in James before it lost casting. It felt like it would win casting and it would win him.
Yeah, but
I know
like
that's
they're
different
just actors
voters.
voting
I know,
this.
but I'm just saying like the I felt like it was tailor made to win casting choice.
It was. But I again the bear winning, not surprising either. New show, a bigger show. Um,
I guess also in terms
but
of
the thing is, like,
acting,
if jury duty won casting, I don't think it would have won series. Whereas like the bear winning casting, it can definitely still win series.
mhm.
So I don't know. And another thing is like if you're going by just the show's strength, obviously the bear and Ted are both stronger than jury duty.
Yes.
Um, yeah. Uh, I'll just keep him for now. I don't know if I would change this before Monday. There's too much math involved.
It's tough.
If I make one change, then it's like a domino effect. It's like, should I change something else?
Here's another tough one, I feel like, that I'm very
Well,
torn on.
this is related to other categories too.
Comedy directing. The nominees are The Bear for Review, Ted Lasso, So Long Farewell, Barry, Wow, Wednesday's Child Full of Woe, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel 4 Minutes and the Miss Pat Show Don't Touch My Hair. And I really have no idea what I want to do here. I'm gonna stick with the Bear though for review, but I really almost put Wednesday here in first for Tim Burton. But
Why?
I think I could see it easily winning here, honestly. And I think Ted is obviously comp too, but I have Ted somewhere else again.
You're picking it in writing?
I am. I'm splitting the Bear in writing and Ted in writing and directing. So I have the Bear for
But
directing.
the reverse split would make more sense.
It would, but I didn't think the Ted one's gonna win. Anyway, go ahead. We'll get to writing, but what do you have here? You have directing for Ted?
This depends on what I have in series. So I still have if I'm gonna keep if I'm gonna keep Ted in series, I'm gonna have Ted winning directing because directing is so linked to they're so lazy. It's so linked to series we've talked about, unless there's a triple vote split situation. So if I'm gonna have Ted in series, I'm gonna have Ted in directing. If I have the Bear in series, I'm gonna have the Bear in directing.
Okay.
So that's it. I want I want Bill Hader to win, but he's not gonna win an Emmy for directing for Barry. This is my new Nicholas Bertel pending. 0 for
I mean,
4
clearly he's not gonna win.
directing Bill Hader. So we'll get him his fourth DGA, but yeah, this has been my logic with directing under this system with the popular vote. Like we've seen it time and time again. It's so tied to series. Like this is why I predicted Hacks to win directing in 2021 because Ted had 3 nominees here.
Right.
And I was like, and we've seen before like shows with triple nominations just split.
Right.
So I pick Hacks. And like in that situation it goes to the runner-up.
Correct.
So Hacks was runner-up show that year. So I picked Hacks. And then last year I went down the ship with my beloved 710 North from Barry. And they went with Ted, series winner.
Yeah.
So this is just whatever I do in series, I'm gonna pick this in directing.
What if I put Ted in here and writing then?
I mean, if you want to do that, fine, but like I think it has a better chance in directing than writing. I'm just saying I wouldn't split it the Bear directing and Ted writing. I would do one show for both or directing Ted and the Bear writing.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll change that one. But in writing, you got the Bear for the system, which I think is the pilot. Ted Lasso, Solo and Farewell, Only Murders in the Building. I Know You Who Did It, Barry, Wow, Jury Duty, Ineffective Assistance, and the other 2, Carrie and Brooke Go to an AIDS Play. And here I had Ted winning for the finale.
I have the Bear, so
Sure.
I'm not changing this one.
I think they actually campaigned for this, I feel like, and before the strike. And people like the finale a lot, and that was I think that helps greatly. And it's Jason getting an Emmy here instead of acting. Not that they care who's writing because it's not on the ballot, but I think people maybe know that. I don't know. I'm sticking with Ted then and have a winning series. So maybe I'll do Ted for directing and writing and get them both wrong.
I'm the Bear. I'm not changing this. Ted has also never won writing, so
True. First time for everything in the final season.
is it? No.
The final season?
They could just win directing again. So
I'm really torn on this. I don't want to put the Bear in series though. I just don't think that would happen.
I mean, I don't have the Bear in series, and I have the Bear winning this. So the writing is less tied to series.
No, I know.
Than
I actually think it could win though for writing for the finale. The finale's good.
Sure, if you say so.
Drama series choice. This one is a little easier. This whole section. Nominees are Succession, The White Lotus, Last of Us, Better Call Saul, The Crown, Andor, Yellow Jackets, and House of the Dragon. And I have Succession winning.
Yeah, it didn't win anything at Creative Arts, but it's still winning series.
To me, there's like no reason it would not win series. Truly.
Yes.
Can't even make a
And
case.
I'm also not shocked. I mean, it sucks it didn't win any, especially for Nicholas Bertel, but it really was not competitive to win in a lot of categories there. Like, obviously, it's not a techie show, so it doesn't have those categories anyway. A ton of them, like craft categories. And I would say I expected it to win two max. Like, that would have been a great night for it. And I think it was most competitive in music, which it
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
And then it could have swung one of the guest categories, but those were tough races and lost both of them. One of them was expected in guest actor. And I didn't think it was gonna win editing again because it had 3 nominees,
Yep.
And then like we said, the casting loss to White Lotus also made sense.
Yeah, I even predicted that one.
So yeah, like it's like that, like those were very obvious, explainable losses.
Yeah.
And then it's like, again, it's just not a very, it's a contemporary show, and they struggle with below the line stuff. It's just like Ted last
Mhm.
year,
Yep.
contemporary show, but it's still the biggest show. And I don't think either, like the White Lotus and Last of Us won stuff, but I think they're just kind of fighting for second place.
Can you imagine? I mean, talk about, we'll get to this later, just in terms of relevance of the Emmys. Can you imagine if they do this ceremony and then Succession doesn't win Best Series? I cannot think of a more irrelevant outcome. No offense to the shows that would potentially win, but it would just be so silly to me if we do this whole thing.
Yeah, like it's still the most nominated show, and
And everyone really loves it, it seems.
yes,
Like the
like
final
we saw
season
that
was
at the
such a hit.
Globes, like everyone was so excited
I
for
mean, I
all
get
four
that
of
it's
these wins.
compared to like not maybe as well watched as The Last of
No,
Us.
it's just it's popular online. This is not a. I've seen people call it a water cooler show. It's only a water cooler show online.
I mean, I would say it is actually more popular though than it's not like I was gonna go the opposite direction. I see people being like, oh, typical Hollyweird doing like shows that no one watches. But I'm like, it actually is pretty well watched for a show
Yeah,
like
but
this.
it's a very niche show. It's not like a monoculture show. It's not a Game of Thrones, and
No.
it never expanded the way that Breaking Bad did, because Breaking Bad obviously started very small on AMC, and then it got the Netflix bump. And
Yeah, but it's
then
not like Mad Men, you know.
I mean, I would say it's like Mad Men. I think hype wise it's stronger than Mad Men, just because social media is stronger now compared to 2007 to 2015 when Mad Men was on the air. But it's the same type of thing. Like, a lot of my normie friends don't watch Succession.
Oh
Like, most of
wow.
my friends who watch Succession are in media.
I feel like
So
all my normie friends watch it too. Not
like,
as
I
much
tell
as The
them to
Last of
watch it.
Us.
Like, some of them start watching it, but like they're not obsessed with it like we are.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's gonna win. So
it's not like a Game of Thrones. It's not like any
no,
huge show in the
no.
90s,
It's not like Last of Us. Last of Us is a huge show. Everyone
So
watches.
I mean, like, some my normie friends don't even watch Last of Us. So, but
Oh
like
wow.
that is bigger
Yeah, that's like a
than,
huge show.
because it was a video game.
Yeah.
So
Uh, Best Drama Actress choice. The nominees are Sarah Snook for Succession, Bella Ramsey, The Last of Us, Melanie Linsky, Yellow Jacket, Sharon Horgan for Bad Sisters, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, and Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale. And I have Sarah Snook winning for Succession.
I do too. My keeper, I know a lot of people are tempted or have already switched to Bella Ramsey because of Storm Reed's win in Guest.
I thought about it,
Hmm.
but then I watched the Golden Globes on Sunday, and I know the voting happened months ago, but I was like, man, you know who people love is Sarah Snook. They just love her. All the famos love her.
I I mean, I can see, I think some people have also moved to like double Last of Us lead wins too because of Creative Arts.
I
So
almost
I'm
did.
also trying not to overreact to that.
Same.
And well, we know you. You already have. So, um, so I think it can happen, but I think she has the easier path to win because she doesn't have any internal competition. And I see the argument strengthened for Bella because of Storm and how like Storm's win indicates that they love and watch the show, which we already knew. And you know, Storm's episode is a great episode for Ellie and makes her sympathetic, you know, and we know how difficult it is for quote unquote unlikable women to win, and that is Shiv, right? Um, but I think Sarah still has the edge here.
I do too.
So
I didn't think the Storm win was that surprising when we were doing it. I think I had her, we were ranking The Last of Us people. I think I had her second behind
yeah.
Melanie. It was
And
so
then we talked
clearly,
about like how the only like shocking win or whatever would have been, or like lazy win would have been Cherry Jones.
and like, of course, that episode was going to be resonant because it's like the flip side of the Frank one that, or what, who does Nick Offerman play? What were those guys? Bill and
Bill and
Frank. It's the flip side of that episode. So, of course, that it was going to be like resonant in terms of the show. Um, yeah, I almost put Bella Ramsey here. I did, but I just think I don't see like I don't see how Sarah or why Sarah would lose, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it just is like again, a universally acknowledged performance that people loved, and the actress is seemingly very well liked.
do you think she would lose against Zendaya?
Probably because of the laziness factor. You know, we were saying before with like Shirley Ralph and Hannah Waddingham, and then Io. Here I'm like, oh, Sarah's new to this or this time around to this category, right? So like back again, like
She's back in. She hasn't won.
yeah,
Never won in supporting.
yeah.
She lost twice to Julia Garner. So she could have been second both those times. We don't know. So maybe she just can't beat Julia Garner, but she can beat everyone else.
I mean,
Um,
I could see them both winning, and actually, I mean, both Last of Us people winning. And maybe I should do
I
that,
mean,
but I'm
dude,
gonna,
you could go double Last of Us and just hope
but
one
I'm
of
gonna
them win,
split the baby and do one Last of Us.
like what everyone is doing,
Yeah. So
what a
drama
lot of people
actor,
had from the beginning.
yeah, drama actor. The nominees are Kieran Culkin, Jeremy Strong, Pedro Pascal, Bob Odenkirk, Brian Cox, and Jeff Bridges. And I have moved Pedro Pascal into first. He's my
Because
predicted
of Creative
winner.
Arts.
Not just because of Creative Arts, because of the very strong possibility that these guys vote split again, just like last year. And it just feels like a repeat of last year with Squid Game. And Last of Us is actually a more popular show, maybe, in terms of voters than Squid Game was.
Uh, I felt like last year was way more obvious and easy. Like I always had Lee Jung Jae winning the Emmy from the beginning, just because Squid Game was so big and he obviously won SAG. And I also felt like there wasn't the same type of like people were still excited and loved Succession obviously in season 3, but I think because it was like the middle season, because season 2 was like its breakout season, um like people took season 3 for granted. So it never felt like Brian or Jeremy was gonna win. And so it made it easier for Lee Jung Jae to win. And then a lot of people were picking Bob Odenkirk, which was never gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like now with season 4, Succession is over. We know like, you know, there was a lot more hype and love for it. And obviously they have it's 3 people now. So on paper it looks harder. But I think everyone would agree that Brian is last between the 3 of them.
I actually think Brian
You
is
know,
not necessarily a factor here. I think the problem is that Jeremy is so good and Kieran is also so good. And I think if you like the show, we have said like you're paying attention. Kieran had
but
this
if you're
won
paying
the
attention,
season.
Yeah, it's like it's Kieran.
But also Jeremy in the finale was so great. It's maybe the best thing he's ever done. And so I feel
But like
like
you were saying before, he's already lost.
true.
So would they go back to him when they have a new option in Kieran?
I also think that the fact is that Pedro Pascal remains a very popular figure, not just online in the industry. Kieran is too, but I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Pedro. I think they'll load split. I do. I just think that's too hard. If Kieran won, I'd
Um,
be so happy. But
it is too hard. I haven't moved to Pedro yet. It's like part of me just wants to like keep this so I have the same in both and
yeah,
then hope I get one of them right. Because I feel like I should do either both Succession and Lead or both Last of Us.
right.
And then hope I get one of them right instead of splitting them. Because the other option is to do, I guess, Kieran in lead actor and then Bella an actress,
Yeah.
which also makes sense too. But like I mean I've always had like Pedro in second, so I don't know, I should just do it. And
It just makes so much sense that again, I'm like trying to
oh yeah,
visualize.
like that's what everyone's been saying
It
from
doesn't
the
make so
beginning.
much
So
sense that he would win. And it would
well
especially
they
be
also people because of Last of Us's performance at Creative Arts, they feel a lot more confident
right.
about Pedro winning.
Yeah.
So I think like that breakdown would also kind of make sense. Like if those are that and those two and Last of Us or those two and White Lotus, like three biggest shows, and if they all walk away with
With
a
act,
primetime Emmy,
I think that makes sense too.
you know. But I don't know. I think I'll just keep Kieran for now, and maybe I'll move to Pedro by Monday.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to I understand that like it's the safer split with Pedro and Sarah.
What if I move Bella into first and they do Bella and Pedro?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you could just do
Maybe I'll do that.
same show for both.
Maybe I'll do that
I
and
think
lose
some
both.
people have already
I'll
because
do this. I'll just do it. I just think it's too close. I think Sarah would
so
win.
you're gonna have double Last of Us, and I'm gonna have double Succession,
Yeah,
and we're both gonna get one right.
that'd be great. Let's do that. I'll do that. I'm doing it now. Uh, for drama supporting actress Joyce, the nominees are Jennifer Coolidge for White Lotus, Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul, J. Smith Cameron for Succession, Aubrey Plaza for White Lotus, Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, Megan Faye for The White Lotus, Sabrina Impacatore for The White Lotus, and Simona Tabasco for The White Lotus. And I have Jennifer Coolidge winning for The White Lotus.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's changed. I don't know what to say.
I know there's a lot of people want Ray Seahorn to win, but I don't see
I
how
know
it's
you
happening.
know how much I would love that.
I don't think
I
it's happening.
I can't I can't predict Better Call Saul to win anything.
No.
It's gonna go over 53.
Yeah.
I've waited since August 2022 to see Better Call Saul go over 53 when it ended. So
Yeah, no, again, going back on the idea, while I think we both agree, and maybe people who watch the shows agree, that Jennifer Coolidge uh, was better in the second season than she was the first season. She's got more competition in the second season than she did the first season. She's still going to win no matter what because people love her and they love the show.
yeah, I have Ray in second. I
Yeah,
I don't know, and I have J. Smith Cameron in third.
nice. I have
But
Elizabeth Debicki in fourth.
yeah, that this is for season 5,
Yeah,
not season 6. So
she was in more of
she'll
season six, but
probably
she's
win for
actually,
season 6 in
she
September.
might. Yeah. For drama supporting actor, the nominees are Matthew McFadden, Alexander Skarsgård, Alan Ruck, F. Murray Abraham, Nicholas Braun, Will Sharp, Michael Imperioli, and Theo James, actors on Succession and The White Lotus only. I have Matthew McFadden winning. This is the one I'm most confident in of any of these.
Yes, so I think the floor for Succession is exactly what it won for season 3, series, supporting actor, and writing. I think
Yes,
it will repeat those
I
for
do
sure.
too. I
And
have
then it's
those.
like it might add a lead category or two, and then maybe directing. But I would put directing last.
I do not have winning directing, which we could do next, I guess. But anything else to say about Matthew? Great performance. Love him.
Human Grease Stain, Tom Momsgans, or Tom Momsgans CEO, he should say.
It's great.
So people were very excited about his Globe win.
People love him.
And yeah. I don't know. I have Eldest Son in second.
I have Skarsgård in second.
I have him in third, A Scars. I wish he was at the Globes on Sunday.
Yeah. Drama directing choice. The nominees are Succession for Connor's Wedding, The Last of Us, Long, Long Time, White Lotus, Arrivederci, Succession, America Decides, Succession, Living Plus, and/or Rick's Road, and Bad Sisters, The Prick. And I have The Last of Us, Long, Long Time winning.
I have Arrivederci winning.
I think Last of Us is the runner-up for series, not White Lotus, and so I put it there.
I have White Lotus because it won casting, and directors also vote for casting. So I think like White Lotus winning this and Jennifer Coolidge makes sense. And then I could see, even though I don't have him, Pedro winning for Last of Us. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would love to see Succession win this. And I think it would be for Connor's Wedding. I have that in third behind Long, Long Time. But again, like we've said millions of times, triple vote split
Tough
situation.
beat.
This happened to them last year, and I never predicted Succession to win last year. I think it has a better chance this year because they've been so focused on Connor's Wedding as like their big episode. And you know how they just shot straight for 30 minutes and everything, that 30-minute winner. And I do think it would win if it were just one episode or even just two episodes, because you can never come to or one other episode, or you can have two nominees and still win. Succession did that with Hunting season 2. But yeah, like 3 is just too much, I think. And then so I'm just gonna do Mike White.
Makes sense. Drama writing. This one we have Succession. Connor's Wedding, Succession, White Lotus, Last of Us, Better Call Saul, Andor, and Bad Sisters. And I have Connor's Wedding for Succession. Jesse Armstrong winning again.
Yeah, nothing else to say. Again,
obviously, this seems like very set. I can't imagine this not winning.
Yeah, he's gonna go 4 for 4. It'll be a great moment. Jesse Armstrong, and yeah, this is one of the 3 that I think Succession will win.
Yeah.
So
what else
for sure. I don't know. It's yeah. Sadly, my beloved Better Call Saul will never win a writing Emmy. So, or any Emmy.
Over 53. Limited series, Joyce. We're moving on. This one we could probably do quick. Limited series. The nominees are Beef, Monster, Daisy Jones, Fleischman, and Obi-Wan. And I have Beef winning.
Yeah, nothing to say.
I have a pretty significant Beef sweep incoming here.
I know you've talked about this multiple times.
So I just have winning everything. For limited series movie actress, the nominees are Ali Wong, Jessica Chastain, Dominique Fishback, Riley Keough, Lizzie Kaplan, and Katherine Hahn. And I have Ali Wong.
Yes.
What do you have in second?
I have Dominique.
Me too.
In second.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. I did these in what, like September? I don't remember my reasoning, but I think, like, no offense to these other people, I think Ali is just locked that it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't know. I guess like Jessica makes more sense to have in second because she won SAG.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't
know. For TV movie limited series actor, nominees are Evan Peters, Stephen Yeun, Daniel Radcliffe, Taron Egerton, Michael Shannon, and Kumail Nanjiani, and I have Stephen Yeun winning.
Yes.
Evan Peters still winning in our odds.
Is that just his stands? Like stuffing the ballots? I don't. Does anyone remember Monster? I mean, I know we're talking about August when they were voting.
I don't even know if they remembered it in August.
I just don't really see why Evan would win, but no offense to him. I love Evan Peters, but not for this.
It'd be hard, and it's also, I guess, hard to imagine them one winning without the other. like Allie
for
and
Beef.
Steven. Yeah, I just think they both
Yeah,
are
and
gonna
it's
win.
just like that's the limited series, so
Yeah,
um yeah, I think they're both gonna win. They're gonna keep winning everything. Critics' Choice is also Sunday. I think they'll win that. Next
a lot
thing
of
this,
wins for Beef.
and then next month, SAG.
We'll win
So
again. Uh, for supporting actress choice in limited series or TV movie, the nominees are Niecy Nash Betts, Claire Danes, Maria Bello, Merritt Weaver, Camilla Marone, Annalee Ashford, and Juliette Lewis. And I have Maria Bello winning for Beef.
because you talked to her in December, even though voting closed in August.
Yes, but I also had Beef winning every other category, and then I was just like, why wouldn't she also win?
So you're gonna do a full Beef
I've
sweep.
had Young winning since the nominations, and I'm going to stick with that when we do supporting actor because I just don't believe for 1 second that they care about, no offense to Paul Walter Hauser, that they care about Blackbird or Paul Walter Hauser in that show. I barely even remember it. Beef is the most popular show here in terms of the Emmys. I could see Niecy Nash Betts winning for Monster because she's also really well liked and the show is a hit. But I just think they maybe will just default to Beef.
I still have Claire. I've had Claire for like what, like 9 months.
Yeah, I have her in
So
third now.
I think I'm just gonna keep Claire.
Okay.
And I have Niecy in second. So I think, we've talked about like how Your Beloved Fleischman was, a low-key hit show, or like at least like appreciated show by the industry.
Yeah.
So, and she was obviously she had her big tape Me Time, and she hit some precursors last winter for it. So didn't win. And um I think it's a very I think the show was watched, and then her situation is also very relatable,
Mm-hmm.
Rachel's situation. And um yeah, I think it's, even though it's a smaller show than Monster, I think with the Emmys it's a stronger show. So I think she can still win over Niecy. I think Niecy is like the people's champion, and I wouldn't be surprised if she won because she was great on Monster too. It'll be very funny if Niecy does win, if Niecy and Paul do win, because they won their Critics' Choice Awards for these performances on January 15th,
Yes.
2023, and then they could win their Emmys for their same performances on January 15th, 2024.
I remember it well. They were on the stage together at the same time.
Because that's what they did. Do you think they'll do
Yes,
that this year?
absolutely. I think they will. Too many
I
awards.
sort of want to predict both of them just because of that.
Why not? My thing is, we talk about how lazy these voters are, and I think this whole category designation is one that they could not give a shit about, and they're just going to go Beef and all of it. That was basically my takeaway. I know they love Beef, the one show that broke through here in this category, in this designation, and so I think they're just going to clean sweep it all.
I feel like Beef, even though they loved it, it did like underperform in terms of supporting nominations it could have gotten.
Yes, which actually I think helps the ones that it got. Like, I think if there was another Beef actress in supporting actress, then Maria maybe has a tougher time. But with just her playing an outsized character that's like pretty fun, I think she could win. For supporting actor, I just said the nominees are Paul Walter Hauser, Young Mazzino, Richard Jenkins, Ray Liotta, Murray Bartlett, Jesse Plemons, and Joseph Lee, and I have Young Mazzino winning for Beef.
I still have Paul, and I don't even know who I would go to next. I guess, like, is Richard second in the odds?
Young is second in the odds, Richard third.
Because of you, because you moved in to first.
Probably.
Um,
I've had him in first for so long, though.
yeah, so as someone who never predicted Blackbird to get a series nomination, I I think Paul can still win, because like I think that was always the strength of the show and the aspect of the show that people cared about or pay attention to, just the actors, so he and Taryn and Ray got in. The show actually won cinematography, Creative Arts.
I interviewed that cinematographer. She was great.
Won more Emmys than Better Call Saul. So,
Mhm. One more
and
Creative Arts Emmys than Succession this year.
yeah, so it, and then like with voting, having been closed since August, like I think he could have, like that performance was like talked about, and he won the Globe last year too. And he also seems like very well liked, like he's worked with a lot of people, he has a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like the transformation performance, like, so I think he can still win. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Young won. I would, if I were gonna do a beef supporting winner, I would do Young before Maria.
My case for Young is that like he's obviously the breakout character in the whole show and the breakout actor. He's so good. Everyone who watched the show like loved him. And like we already know they watched the show and loved it. So like why wouldn't he win? They could just be late. Like we know they watch Beef. I understand. I agree with you. Paul Hauser is really good on Blackbird. And I actually like Blackbird, but they did not like the show as much as Beef. And so maybe that doesn't matter, but I
But
just think it'd be
it's just
easy.
actors
I
voting
know,
for.
but I think the actors really loved Young. Like they loved Young.
I don't like, what proof is that there besides like him getting the nomination?
That is my proof. And like people who watch
That's
the show
it.
like it. No, the people who watch the show like really liked it. Like that's it. That's the proof.
Yeah, but I also think I think they were kind of stymied by their controversy
No,
when the
remember
show.
that? Hard to even
Yeah,
remember.
remember that. Yeah, remember? Does anyone remember that?
No, not a single
Um,
person.
so
People who are really mad about it don't remember it.
they they shut down promo for a little bit. I think he could have broken out more than
I
he
guess
did,
that's maybe true.
you know. So like I always predict him for the nomination, and then I feel like all of the passion is still concentrated on Allie and Steven.
I think that we've seen that's true, but also it hasn't really had the opportunity to have him win, really, or anybody
That's
win.
true. But I think like you still just don't really talk about anyone but Allie and Steven when you're, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like
guess,
the
but I mean,
supporting
like,
cast didn't even go to the Globes.
no, well, they weren't nominated.
But they could have gone. Like if full
Yeah,
casts were there for shows that like they had a whole table,
I will say,
no
like,
was gonna win.
the other thing I would say is like he's opposite the two lead winners, which I think really helps too.
Yeah.
Every scene he's in is with either Allie or Steven. And like they're gonna win. Why wouldn't he win? I agree Maria's like a long shot compared to him, but I just think he would win. I just can't imagine. I don't know. I really think I don't I
Watch it just be Richard.
it could be Richard. I mean, I would even say Richard over Paul, just because like he's another beloved veteran, and I know people watch Monster, even if it underperformed too. Like it was obviously watched. I'm just not convinced they watched Blackbird.
They watched Blackbird enough to nominate it. They gave it 4 nominations, and 3 of them were acting. So
Yeah,
the
but that could
actors
be like a
watched.
small but passionate group to get the nomination, right? Compared to win.
Well, you're just picking one for the winner.
Right.
Um, so
I'm saying like
it's
a lot. The
it's just like
reason
we don't know who they prefer because you could list multiple people when you're nominating.
I guess what I'm
So
saying
like
is like
no one thought they watched Chippendales, and they
no, but
did.
like clearly the people who watch Chippendales, small but mighty. And I think with Blackbird, similarly, small but mighty. But everyone watched Beef and Monster in theory, based on how those shows performed on Netflix and in the nominations. So I could make a better case almost for Richard winning. Like I still don't know the people who didn't watch Blackbird. Do you think they went the actors who didn't watch Blackbird? Let's say there was like a small group of actors that loved it, right? It's a good show. People really liked it. They put Paul #1 on their ballots and whatever. Do you think like they went the people who didn't watch it, do you think went back and watched it?
Um, yeah, like I think some probably. So I think the difference between Blackbird and Chippendales, and the advantage Blackbird has over Chippendales, is like it already had like not a great, but it had an awards run last winter.
Right.
Like people saw him win the Globe. He was nominated at SAG, so he already has actor support. It's like he got in there as a supporting actor in their one category alongside Taron.
Right.
So, and like Chippendales basically had no presence last winter, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a late drop too. So Blackbird premiered in July 2022. So I think that's been enough time for people to have watched it and caught up to it, especially by like Emmy voting. Like maybe some people did not watch it like by last year's Globes, maybe, but they saw his speech and they liked his speech, so then they caught up to it by like
Right.
Emmy voting, you know, and then maybe some people waited for nominations to do their due diligence and like, I'll check this out because I've been hearing about him. I remember he won the Globe,
Right.
right? Like, I agree. I think everyone watched Beef. So there's no reason to like go revisit that. Like, you already have formed your opinion after you watched it in April. So maybe like Young could have been your pick when you watch Beef, but then you caught up with Blackbird over the summer to vote, and then you're like you're more impressed by him. Or it
Yeah.
could have been the reverse. You watch Blackbird first, and then you watch Beef, and you're like, I'm all in on Beef. But I do think if you're like, I think there probably are more people who might gravitate towards the performance that Paul gives because it's villain. He does a voice
It's
and
really going
everything.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a dramatic turn when he's kind of been known as, you know,
Funny
comedic,
guy.
jokey, you know. So yeah, I'm not confident in it, and but it I don't really know like who else could really win here besides those three. I have Murray Bartlett in fourth.
I mean, only because he's won, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem like
He
there's a
had
lot
two
of,
nominations this year. So
doesn't seem like there's a
he
lot
won
of
last year for White
um,
Lotus here.
yeah.
And I have Ray Liotta in fifth. I
Yeah.
don't think he would win.
No.
I have Joseph Lee in sixth, and then Jesse Plemons last.
It's tough.
Yeah.
For movie limited series directing choice nominees are Beef, Figures of Light, Monster, Silence, Beef, The Great Fabricator, Fleischman, Prey, and Monster, Bad Meat. And I have Beef, Figures of Light winning.
I do too. I've been torn between which Beef episode to go with, but I think I'm just gonna do the finale.
Same.
That one editing, but it also only had one editing nomination, so which made it easier.
Yeah.
I could see this being another hunting over This Is Not for Tears and War over Fairy Tale, where everyone picks the consensus episode, and then it's the second episode that wins.
It would actually be right for the second episode to win.
That's the penultimate, the action.
Jake is
Jake
as the
Schreier.
director, really good. Sonny is going to win for writing and series, so like he doesn't need to necessarily win directing. I don't know if people care about that. He could just win all three.
I don't think they care, and it's also different branches voting. It's not, they can't, if you care about it, you don't have control over the other
right.
category.
True.
So.
True. And then for writing, I have Beef winning, but the nominees are Beef, Fleischman, Weird, Swarm, and Fire Island and Prey. And Fleischman in second.
So you're not going to do Fleischman anywhere?
No, unfortunately. I think it's a great show. Probably liked it more than Beef, even though I also like Beef a lot. But if it was going to win anything, I think it would win here. But I'm also like, how does Beef not win writing if I have it winning every other category?
Oh yeah, no, I have Beef winning writing. I think Fleischman's best chance is for Claire.
Yeah.
Not in writing.
Yeah.
Even though it's a very writerly show.
We'll finish out here with the competition and reality, variety stuff, excuse me. But competition program, RuPaul, Amazing Race, Survivor, Top Chef, and The Voice. And I have RuPaul winning.
Same. It lost last year to Lizzo, but Lizzo not here, so I think I'll just reclaim the crown. What if it'll be cool if actually Survivor wins because made it back after so long.
A rejuvenated
But I don't think it's
season. I don't
happening.
think so. For variety talk series, Nominees are Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Problem with Jon Stewart, Late Night with Seth Meyers, Daily Show with Trevor Noah, and Jimmy Kimmel Live. And I have Stephen Colbert winning.
I do too. So because now John Oliver is gone,
Yes.
forced to leave.
And that's the
This
next category, scripted category. Variety scripted series. Last Week Tonight, Saturday Night Live, and a Black Lady sketch show. And I have Last Week Tonight win.
Same. So he's gonna continue his win streak, just in a different category.
For Variety Special Live, the nominees are Elton John, live Farewell from Dodger Stadium, Tony Award Super Bowl halftime show, Chris Rock, and the Oscars. And I have the Super Bowl halftime show winning.
I have Elton John. So
I switched.
I
to
don't
Super
think
Bowl.
this year's Super Bowl, or last year's, I guess, was as strong as the previous years. And that's not me being biased because of Eminem. So
I don't disagree, but I also think the Super Bowl just might win. Didn't win directing. I think it won directing at the Creative Arts Emmys.
it did. Elton John won a couple too.
Yes.
So that was a huge deal to that concert.
I think both would be worthy winners. I have Elton John in second. It's first in the odds.
But yeah.
For closing out, variety series writing, the nominees are Last Week Tonight, Late Show, Late Night, Saturday Night Live, and Daily Show, and I have Last Week Tonight winning.
Yeah, the WGA protested and got this category moved back to the main ceremony because it was going to be in creative arts.
Yeah.
So congratulations again to Last Week Tonight.
So we have a lot of shockingly, like a lot of, it could be a fun night, or it could just be everything that wins, everything regular wins.
Well, we're both doing something like really stupid.
So I have
our drama lead picks.
So let me see. So I have, just to recap, I went back to Jeremy. I went back to Jeremy over Jason for actor in comedy. I kept Marsden. I did Ted in directing and comedy and writing. And then I have Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal in drama, actor, and actress.
And I still have Karen and Sarah. And then we'll both come out with one win.
That's fine. Looking forward to this. I love the idea of going back to 2023 Emmys in 2024. It's gonna be so much fun.
I asked this after the Globes, but how many people do you think burned their would have been Emmy speech at the Globes? Like Lee Sung-jin.
Probably a decent amount, I would say.
I don't think Kieran did because he just speaks whatever is in his mind at the moment.
He didn't seem like he had a prepared speech.
No, he's the best. So
just have some emails here. We're gonna do movie stuff because it's the Oscar race still. But we have one Emmy one that I had that I saved. It's from Timothy, who writes, "Hi Joyce and Chris. Is anyone even gonna remember these Emmys?"
no. Well, no, it'll be remembered by like fans of shows and us, obviously, but it'll be lost in the general public discourse. Not that like regularly, like if it were in September, it would be huge anyway, but if they have that real estate to themselves, and now it'll be lost within Oscar season 2 because everyone just cares about the Oscar race right now, and it's also airing on a holiday, a literal holiday.
What do you think? So the Golden Globes ratings came back still very low compared to like the Halcyon days, but much more improved from last year. I think it had like 9 or 10 million people watched on Sunday night, 9.5 million or whatever it was.
The Globes are back, remember?
What do you think the Emmys ratings are going to be? Less than that?
Well, they're on Fox.
Yes.
And like I don't think I feel like the promo for the Globes was really strong, like in the past month. You know, and the Emmy stuff on social media, they kind of started up again last month, with like reminders of like the nominees, but the way they phrase it is like the nominees are, it made it sound like they were being announced like, mid-December.
Mhm.
And I saw a lot of people on like Twitter being confused about like, oh, you like they thought it was real or in real time at that point because they don't follow the shit. And it's like, no, that these have been the nominees since July. So I think there's not a lot of public awareness for the Emmys being on Martin Luther King Day.
I,
So I think it will be like probably comparable like ratings, but it's again on a holiday, on a long weekend.
I would say the other problem I would have is well, the Golden Globes had like the biggest movies in a long
Yeah,
time.
because the Globes is also movies. Like Emmys is just TV. And like we were saying, none of these shows are like super, super huge shows like Game of Thrones style
The
either. So
the 74th ones it looks like a little less than 6 million viewers watched. It was on NBC and Peacock on September 12th. I think this will be less than that, I would argue. I think it'll be like about 5.2 million viewers, maybe.
I mean, so many people didn't know, creative arts were happening this weekend too.
It definitely feels like
So not
we're
that those were televised, but
no.
um it's it's just like we were saying, during the strikes, like they should have just rescheduled it for some time before 2023 was
Yes.
over in hopes that the strikes would end before then, and they did.
And just done a different thing. Just done a different
Yeah,
show.
like I don't think the Emmy should ever be part of the winter season, part of Oscar season. It doesn't deserve to be overshadowed like that. And so many people think the Emmy should just be part of this massive onslaught of awards. And no, it shouldn't. It should
And
stand on its own like it always has. And it's more exciting that way because it uses a different calendar. So we have different shows facing off,
mhm.
different seasons. And it's like, now it looks like so fucked up and people will be so confused. Like, how many people are gonna be so confused by like if like Eben doesn't win? They'll
I
be
think
like,
if the
oh, he
Ted
won for
win,
Forks. It's
yeah,
like
a
he'll win
lot.
for Forks in September,
I think
you
a
know.
lot. Yeah. I think that it's going to be very weird when like if Ted win, like no matter what, I don't think, I mean, I'll speak for me. I'm not switching to the Bear and Comedy series. Like even if I have like Bear winning multiple other awards, if I switch off writing and directing and all these different things, I'm like, people are going to be like, why did the Bear lose season 2 lose to Ted Lasso?
While it's winning season 2 awards at the Globes,
The day
Critics'
before at the
Choice,
Critics
and
Choice
like
Awards, it's going to
yeah.
win season 2. And then not on the, it's just very strange. It's a
Yeah,
little,
and like I saw some reactions that already to some of the creative arts wins. People were like, how did Jamie Lee Curtis lose? I'm like, she wasn't nominated because she's not eligible yet.
yep, it's very strange.
So I think the general public be so confused.
I just think
And
they're not going to watch, but we'll see.
no, and then I don't think the promo has been as strong as the Globes promo was.
No,
Um,
we said
I
this
mean, like
back.
let me tell you. So I watch Friends reruns on Nickelodeon because they do
Yes,
like a 6-hour marathon every night. Nickelodeon, owned by Paramount,
yes,
right? They were airing so many Golden Globes promos the past month. And like on Nickelodeon, a channel for kids, basically, and like kids are not gonna watch the
right,
Globes, but like maybe they're watching these shows with their parents,
right.
you know. So, and then like I basically only watch Fox for football games and not
Mhm.
all the football games, or like even full football games, and very little promo for the Emmys in the past
I
month.
mean, God knows what's going on internally at these networks, and I'm not, because I'm not a network executive. I don't know if you know this,
I did not know.
but my sense was back when they moved the show
They
that
didn't care.
Fox
They
had
didn't.
not a single iota of interest in even airing it, that they did not want to have to do this, that they had no interest in it at all. And nothing has disabused that notion in the last 6 months. So
And
Uh,
I said this at the time when they rescheduled it.
Mhm.
They should have, because the Emmys rotate between the four big networks: Fox, NBC, CBS, and ABC.
Yes.
Um, so they should have just negotiated with one of the other three networks to swap for a year if they didn't want it. And like they, like with the strikes and everything, is it gonna be moved? And this is like bad for us. Like, would you take it this year, and then we'll take your year next year and 2 years, whenever their next rotation is? I
Yeah.
think they should have just done that.
Seems very likely that they should have done that, but they didn't.
And then also when they moved the Emmys off of September Fox, they immediately slotted in some like CMA thing, some like
Correct.
country music
Correct.
special.
We actually have another Emmys one. This one's from our old pal Uri, uh, who writes, "Hi, Joyce and Chris. I see the usual overreaction to the Creative Arts Emmys. It always happens, and now because Nick Offerman won, Kieran is losing, or because Judith Light won a much deserved Emmy, Natasha is winning. Both things I did. What are your thoughts? I still think Rachel is going to win. Natasha is in second, maybe. I just remembered how much SAG loved Maisel in the past. Obviously, now when you're reading the email, the SAG noms are out. Well, actually, not really, Uri, because we're jumping the gun.
Because we have to do
Uh,
tags tomorrow.
yeah. What are your thoughts? And just some ghost of Emmy future. I think Elizabeth Debicki has a clear path this time for the win. She was the best part of an okay season. I hope Slow Horses starts connecting with voters for this excellent season. What are your thoughts?
Well, you made some of those changes.
I did. I don't even know if I made it because of what I saw at the Creative Arts, though. I guess Natasha won. Natasha won, yes, because it just showed that they watched the show, basically. And in a category without, to me, a strong front runner, uh, it makes sense maybe that she would win. But like we discussed, it could be any one of those people, including Rachel, who you have and who Uri would like to see win, and who I had for months and would be a much deserving winner for the final season of Mrs. Maisel. But I just had no proof that they even cared or watched Poker Face. And the fact that that they did, to me, at least with the Judas win, when they could have easily gone with like a TED actress or Taraji, like we said, um, is a little heartening, I guess. In terms of Nick winning, that I always had Nick winning, so that's not why I would have Kieran losing. It
Yeah.
just was like, it just makes sense to me on paper that he would not win because of a vote split. And like, it just seems like very obvious that Pedro could win in that scenario. But if Nick had lost, I still think I would have thought the same
Well,
thing.
lost to who? Because he just lost another Last of Us
I think he
guy.
would have maybe just lost another Last of Us actor. I don't think James was like super competitive for Succession, and Arian was not either.
I mean, I don't, Arian, no, I don't think so.
So
Even though, Team Ken baby, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't think the Nick win changed anything for most people, because that was expected and heavily predicted, and that's what a lot of people wanted anyway. So I would argue that the Storm read would be more of a factor in people switching off
Sarah for
of Sarah or Kieran, because then your argument would be like, oh, like Last of Us won 2 acting awards,
mm-hmm.
so Succession is cooked in lead. So, um, but
I don't know if it's
yeah,
cooked. I don't think it's cooked, but I
no,
just
I think
think
it could still win one of them, and then
I also
like
thought in terms of Last of Us, like the show is the two of them, and then it has the guest stars rotating in and out, right? And you're like invested in,
it's a very guest friendly show.
and you're invested in that relationship. I think of more than even the show. And so with Succession, I
Yeah,
think you're invested in the show more than the individual characters, just because while everyone probably has a favorite or least favorite or like one they love to hate, it's the whole show that is like more of the draw than just Kieran or just Sarah or just Jeremy. And so it would make sense to me that would win series, obviously, because it's like the show is great. People love the show. And if there was an ensemble award at the Emmys, I think it would easily win that as well. But individually, I could see Pedro and Bella winning just because that's what people love about Last of Us. And they love Last of Us, obviously, based on the nominations and its Creative Arts wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think the guest stars outshined them several times, like in the season. So I do think Succession can add one more to its tally than it had in season 3, but those 3 wins that it'll win again. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think people do overreact to it. And I think people also forget that it's branch voting, so you could have a really strong tech performance and still underperform above the
Mhm.
line on the main show. Because I remember when Maisel won a ton at Creative Arts, because again, craft heavy show. And then it won 2 more at the main show in acting, and it lost series to Fleabag because Fleabag was just the show,
Right.
right? And it was a contemporary show, and it was not going to be super competitive at Creative Arts,
Yeah.
but it won what it needed to,
Right.
and it won series, and even Phoebe won.
Yeah.
So, um, and like we've seen, time and time again how much Game of Thrones dominated Creative Arts because of course, and then it could only just win, like acting wise, could only just win Peter Dinklage.
Right.
But it won series, so
I mean, I'm not even considering moving off Succession for series. I just think
yeah.
and if I had to rank outcomes, I would say Pedro and Sarah is the most likely outcome to me,
Yes.
more even than Kieran and Sarah. I would say Pedro and Sarah, Kieran and Sarah, and then Pedro and Bella.
And then Kieran and Bella.
And then Kieran and Bella will be last. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So because we're doing this on Tuesday,
yeah.
tomorrow SAGs.
Yeah.
If Natasha does not get a SAG nomination, would you move off of her?
Mm, maybe. It depends on who else is nominated, I guess. Like who else is going to be nominated
I
there?
think Rachel would be nominated.
Rachel will definitely be nominated. And then let me see what I have right now
Quinta.
for my picks. This will be moot if you're watching this, but just for our own edification,
Everything is outdated.
everything's outdated. But I have um
We also just did our SAG predictions Sunday night at like 1
I already
a.m.
forgot what I had. I have Natasha getting in, which is maybe wrong. And I don't have Rachel getting in. But if Rachel gets in, then it would be it would be Io, Meryl, Quinta, Hannah, and Rachel. I don't think it matters because you're throwing supporting people in here. I would still stick with Natasha, even over Rachel.
Okay.
Let's see what other emails we got. This one is from Sean. This is about movies, Joyce. Back into the movie land. Dear Chris and Joyce, I'm wondering if all the drama surrounding Anatomy of Fall not being selected for international film could finally help change the category's rules. Fresh off the film's Golden Globes wins, France has to be feeling pretty stupid right now for blowing a guaranteed Oscar win. There have also been rumors, and there's a hyperlink here, that the film was blocked from success. This is to a Times UK article. That the film was blocked from a selection for political reasons. Similar allegations have happened countless times, including with Poland for this year's The Green Border and France just a few years ago with Portrait of a Lady on Fire. While it's tough to know the merit of each situation at this point, it's just getting exhausting. If Anatomy of Fall is able to score a few major Oscar nominations, do you think the Academy will fix this category? It's embarrassing that almost every other awards body does it better, and I'm wondering if the recent expansion of international members and openness to rule changes could finally help push the needle. That's from Sean.
Maybe. We've kind of talked about it before and what changes they should or shouldn't make. Right? Was that in our mailbag
I don't
or
know.
no, I think it was the short list,
Maybe a short list.
right? Um, I understand why they've implemented that limit. Maybe they should just expand it. Like every country can have like 3 submissions or something,
I
you know?
wonder if there does need to be reform in terms of why does the country get to select? You know, because it does open up. I've heard that too. The rumors of like
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
political machinations at play, and basically like with
Oh,
Anatomy of
this is
Fall,
always.
you have to like do like it's like a bake off. Basically, you go and like plead your case to
Mhm.
the film board or whoever it is, And I'm just like, why are they making that decision? Because there's always going to be some kind of bias there, right? Like they just
Yeah, like when you
like
leave it up to like a committee, you
right.
know, they have reasons
And
not to choose you.
I understand the need for a short list in the international feature because you want to make sure people can watch the movies that are
And you want to
eligible.
be more inclusive, so it's not like certain
But
countries dominating.
wouldn't it be better to just be like the Academy is going to make this choice, like instead of the countries, and like then like what like do you need to have that extra
You
layer
mean
of the
like you
country?
having the branch pick the
Can't you
films?
just have the branch pick the films rather than the countries? Like, is it such a
Maybe.
burden on the branch to have to like I'm assuming they have that so the branch doesn't have to watch like 800 international entries basically, or whatever it
Like
would
you
be.
have like specific, or you could just form a specific
Committee.
committee for international.
That would to me
Like,
make more sense than allowing the country, which maybe has its own agenda, to decide.
yeah, because it's not like a branch because
Yeah,
it's a film award.
yeah,
Um, yeah, like you opt in to become part of the international
yes,
film committee to view submissions and then do a short list.
yeah.
Would
I
you
don't
still
think
do one country or one film per country?
you need to honestly. I think you should not do one film per country and
Yeah,
worry
I
about
don't,
that like later,
and I
basically.
think if you do the limit, like I said, I think you should have more than one. Like, I think that's fine
Yeah.
to have
Because to
more
me,
than
I'm
one.
just like, I don't think France feels stupid, but I think it makes the
I
Oscars
don't think France cares.
no, but I also think it makes the Oscars itself look irrelevant and that's
Hmm.
out of their own power because no offense to Zone of
Right.
Interest, which I think is equally good or as good for some people. Um, Anatomy of Fall is like clearly the biggest, like it's gonna for people who have seen Anatomy of Fall, even people in the industry, I still see people going like, oh, it could win, and it's like they don't even people don't even realize that it's not
No,
eligible,
because
and like
people don't follow this stuff.
and
So
so like it's gonna not get nominated, and people are gonna be like, it's snubbed or that's stupid. And then Zone of Interest is gonna win. It's like great, but Zone of Interest didn't have to compete against Anatomy of Fall for this particular award. And in the other times it won or it lost to Anatomy of you know what I mean? Like it just is like not it just seems very irrelevant. It makes it feel.
yeah, and then if you're just a casual just who watches this award shows for funsies every year, like, and you watch the Globes and you saw Anatomy of a Fall win these two awards and Justine Triet give these two great speeches, and then you watch the Oscars 2 months later, and then you're like, what the fuck? It's not even nominated for national
And,
feature. And then people have to be like, actually, it wasn't snubbed. Like France just didn't pick it, you
and like
know.
it's gonna be nominated presumably for like multiple major Oscars.
They'll make Best Picture, Best Actress,
Best Actress, Best Picture, probably
maybe Best Director,
Best
Original
Director,
Screenplay for
Best
sure,
Screenplay, and it
maybe
could win.
editing.
And could win best screenplay. So you're gonna be sitting there as a regular person watching the Oscars and have like 5 nominations, and you get to an international feature and be like, "Where is it? Isn't this international?"
And
It
it's not
just
a snub. It's not even the
no,
snub. It's
it's just
just it
very
wasn't
silly.
selected to be in the
Let me see
running.
what I got. Other ones here. Uh, this one's from Anthony from Australia. Joyce, long time watcher,
From
first time
Australia.
emailer. Yeah, we're international, baby. Love your show. I listen as I fall asleep. Not because you put me to sleep, but because it helps me wind down at the end of the day. I needed like this one.
I think we definitely put him to sleep.
My question is with the recent Globes being incredibly predictable, with very few surprises, do you think award season will become less and less exciting as the old Globes are so good at throwing a spanner in the works? Keep up the good work. That's from Anthony.
No, I think it just depends on the year and the movies. I mean, last year they were back, like Sentence Case. This year they're back, all caps, the
Yeah.
Globes. But last year, like they didn't line up with the Oscars completely.
Mhm.
They went with Banshees of Inisherin, Angela Bassett, Austin Butler, but that you could say that was for reasons. Um, so no, I just think like this year we just had, very popular films and a seeming juggernaut in Oppenheimer that we have not seen in a very long time that can actually sweep the Oscars. I mean, you could say Everything Everywhere, but I don't think of them as the same type of movie. Like I think Oppenheimer is more of like a Return of the King.
I guess the only thing I would say is that like it does. We talked about this when we did our Globes recap, but it does feel like a lot of the we're very close to having just all four acting winners be basically a sweep,
Mhm.
and that's going to be a little different than last
That would
year.
be boring because the last like, 3 years. Yeah. 2019 was the last 2020 sweep. So like, or 4 years, right? I don't even know. No, 3 years. Yeah, we have not had full sweeps. They've been exciting and fun.
Yeah, not as
And
much
I
fun.
feel like maybe this year, maybe we could have like one loss somewhere by one of them. You know, maybe Critics' Choice. I don't know. Maybe BAFTA.
Maybe BAFTA. I'm hopeful for BAFTA to throw some monkey wrenches in the mix, but
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, if you're looking specifically at acting, I think we could have full sweepers.
yeah,
And then yeah, like Oppie is just very strong.
yeah.
So I guess it's like boring in that sense, but I think it really depends on the year and what's
I
in contention.
I also personally don't think it's remind me of this in March. I'm ready to like jump out a window because I'm so tired of these same people winning. But I like the winners this year, so
So you don't care that it's boring.
I want to see Christopher Nolan win an Oscar. Like I'll let him win everything. He's great. I loved Oppenheimer. It was my favorite movie. Of course, I would like to see it win, even though I hate when my favorite movie wins. But this time around, maybe it'll be fun.
Um, yeah, I think that might be the vibe for a lot of people too, because the a lot of the people who are the favorites have not won, like Christopher Nolan. Like people want him to win,
And like even like
right?
the yeah, like Nolan, Downey, Divine. These are people really like.
Yeah, and like Killian, like, all of his stands, Peaky Blinders stands, like he's been around. Like I think it's great that both he and Nolan in their speeches at the Globes emphasized that they've been working together for 20 years,
Really fun. Yeah.
you know. So it's like a full package deal. It's like they're inextricable from each other. Like he's his guy, you know, and he finally gave him a lead role. So I think like these are kind of like exciting. So I guess, like there's always gonna be people who are gonna be bored by the time you get to the end when it's just a lot of rubber stamping. But I don't think it I think actually this year might be the exception.
Well, I would think this too. Is this the if it goes chalk, we have months to talk about this, so maybe I shouldn't be suggesting on January 9th. But if it goes chalk and it's Murphy, Downey, Devondre Randolph, and uh Lily Gladstone, if it's those four who win, is that the best group of act or most approved group of acting winners we've had in a long time? Like there's not a clunker in that bunch, I would say, in terms of what people like online.
I think that would be generally accepted. I think some people would prefer Ryan over Downey,
Yeah.
you know. But I think all four of them would be accepted overall. So yeah.
Joyce, this one you'll love. This is from Caleb. By the way, you could email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Caleb writes, "Hi Joyce and Chris. I was watching your final Globes predictions, and Joyce mentioned she loves watching Olympic gymnastics. I'm also a gymnastics fanatic, and I wanted to ask Joyce what fave she's rooting for to make the team. I'm personally a Suni and Shalise stan, but I'm a little worried for Suni at the moment since she's been having kidney issues. I want her to repeat Olympic all around so bad, but with Simone competing, I will settle for bars gold. And I will have you know, Joyce, Caleb was so excited about this that they sent it from their emails because or from their phones
Oh,
because
sent from my iPhone? Like,
get Outlook for iOS is what it
oh
says.
yeah, yeah.
So that's how much Caleb needed to talk to you about this. I don't know half the things I just read to you, but please
Wow.
explain.
You know Simone
Oh,
Biles.
is that who that Simone is? Okay. Yeah, I know Simone Biles.
Fuck off.
I've heard of her.
I think Simone and Charlize are locks.
Okay.
Provided everything goes according to plan at trials. So the good thing is the team this year, there's 5 slots. It was 4 in Tokyo, so now it's back to 5. I don't know. I missed the Magnificent Seven. But 5 slots. So I think those two are locks. I am also very concerned about Suni. I don't know if she'll make it. I do like I think if they select her, she would just be a bar specialist. So
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Um and yeah, I don't know. Like I just I don't try to make predictions before trials. So I'm just gonna wait for trials and see. And Gabby Douglas is also trying to make a comeback. I think she probably has less of a chance to make it. But it'll be fun to watch her compete again. So one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life every 4 years is after gymnastic trials and waiting for the committee to come out to announce the team.
Okay.
Because now they like show this live, they show them like walking around, milling about in the back, and then they walk out and then they announce the team. But like I'm so nervous. I wonder if Caleb is also nervous when you're just waiting for the team to be announced.
Probably.
But yeah, I think those two slots are locked. So then we can chat again at trials in the summer. So
We should do definitely like an Olympic special.
Olympics, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's gonna win Emmys. So next
So
year.
it counts. It qualifies. Uh, I think we're gonna wrap there, Joyce. We'll be back. So we'll be back next week, I guess, if you're watching this. But you and I will
Well,
be back.
yeah, because this is premiering on Thursday.
Yes. So we're
So
gonna do.
and yesterday, Wednesday, even though we haven't done it yet,
We're gonna do the
it sags.
facts. Uh, I guess we'll be back Sunday night after the Critics' Choice Awards. Maybe
I don't know. Do we need to, or should we just do?
Monday night after the Emmys. And maybe we're back Monday night after the Emmys. I think. I think
I
that
don't think
may.
we need to ruin both days of our
I
weekend.
think we could do Monday night after the Emmys, and I think that'll be great. So we'll see you Monday night, I guess. And stay up till 2 a.m. again. Be great. So I'll talk to you then, Joyce. Bye.